Welcome to the Energy Upgrade podcast. Hey, I'm Vanessa, and I'm obsessed with all things health, energy, entrepreneurship, motherhood, and living my best life. I'm here to give you actionable steps in reclaiming your energy and reconnecting with your power. I'm a certified integrated health practitioner and kinesiologist. I spent the past decade with a focus on skin health and age prevention while co-founding a network of medical aesthetic clinics on the west coast of Canada. After healing myself from burnout, mold, heavy metal, and all the things, I'm back to my passion for health optimization, and I'm lucky enough to coach high-achieving women just like you in finding their energy and life force back. Transforming their life so they can step into the highest version of themselves has energized me and inspired me to bring to life this podcast. Here, I'll talk about detox, lifestyle, mindset, supplements, breathwork, parasites, and everything in between. I know you're so busy, so I keep it under 30 minutes. Thank you for being here. Cozy up and let's get started.
Your time is now. Your energy is your life force. You want to be able to magnetize your wellness dreams. A liver detox is the fastest way to start healing. You can and you will.
Welcome to another episode of the Energy Upgrade. This is your host, Vanessa, and I'm excited for today. I'm so excited because I'm bringing in a client who has a very unique background. So she is a pharmacist, and she came to me. She had just experienced the liver detox, and she was completely blown away by the results. And her traditionally what she had learned about liver detox and liver health is that we didn't need that. The liver is an amazing organ. It doesn't need our support. It's doing its thing. Let's leave it alone. And when she first came to me, she had just completed a liver detox, and she was like, oh my God, I need to learn more of this. I need to dive deeper into this. It kind of opened up another part of her so she started being really curious about all this side of holistic health, and together we've been able to achieve such beautiful breakthroughs. And I wanted her to come and share that with you because I get that all the time from the more medical, more scientific community that we don't need to do a detox. And although I completely agree that the liver is a powerhouse of an organ, it is so amazing, and it is keeping us, it detoxifying us every single day, 24 hours a day. But the reality is we also have to acknowledge that nowadays we live in a pretty toxic world, more toxic than it's ever been. And so what we're doing with a liver detox is we're really just supporting it. So today I'm having a conversation with Leigh Fehr-Little, and Leigh she is such an amazing human, and I'm so excited for you to listen to her. She has so much wisdom, and she really understands and now combines in her approach as a prescribing pharmacist really the traditional scientific, very Western medicine information, and now weaves into that all the holistic health, the nervous system regulation, the hormonal health, the microbiome, the lifestyle, the mental health. And that makes her such a beautifully rounded health professional. And I want you to hear from her take on all of these things. Why do they matter and how it changed her? But let me give you a little bit more about Leigh before we start our conversation. So she studied physiology at the University of Saskatchewan before obtaining entrance into the College of Pharmacy and Nutrition. During university, she worked at Royal University Hospital in the pharmacy department, where she gained an incredible appreciation for the level of care that occurs in a teaching hospital, but also realized her heart was in community pharmacy. Community pharmacy provides the opportunity to journey with patients and families over an extended period of time as they work to optimize their health and quality of life. Leigh has completed the Professional Compounding Centers of America, PCCA, basic training course in Houston, Texas, as well as seminars from PCCA in bioidentical hormone replacement. She has her authorization to administer drugs and immunizations by injections, hold additional prescribing authority, and is always working to add to her skill set at education. And the work we did together added to her skill set for sure. Leigh loves meeting with all clients, but especially loves helping women sort through quality of life symptoms that can become more pronounced with age or hormonal change. She uses a systematic approach to review digestive health, support liver, adrenals, thyroid, and hormone health. She is currently accepting new clients, and she would love to meet you. And at the end of the episode, she will share a little bit more about how she can support if you feel inclined to going deeper. So buckle up, sit down. This is a powerful conversation. I think you're going to gain a ton out of this, especially if you're someone that has the Western medicine, the Western vision at heart. Seeing it through her lens and her curiosity, I think can be extremely enlightening. So enjoy this episode. Here we go. Leigh, welcome to the Energy Upgrade. I'm so thrilled you're here today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here, and thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to a chat.
And let's share some behind the scenes here. This is literally our third time trying to record this episode because you live literally in beautiful Yellowstone in Alberta, Medicine Hat. And somehow we just couldn't get a clear connection all the previous times.
No, and actually all day yesterday, our internet came on and came off. So, I mean, while we were trying to record, I was thinking, I don't know, is it me? What's happening?
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, it continued to give us trouble. And that's life in rural Alberta. Sometimes you have internet and sometimes you don't. So yeah, I came into the city today and we'll try again.
Awesome. I can feel it this time. I think we got this.
All right.
So you are a prescribing pharmacist. You co-founded a community pharmacy. And you came to me a few months ago, almost like 4 now, wanting more energy, wanting more nervous system regulation, wanting more tips. But there's one thing, and I remember we talked about this the first time we met. You came to me and right off the bat, you said, you know, I didn't believe in this liver detox thing, but now I do, and I'm all ears. What else can I do?
Completely.
So I absolutely want to dive into this today because I think it's so interesting to give a pharmacist perspective on a detox that is often it's controversial, right? Not everybody believes in it. And so I can't wait to hear your experience. But before, you've created something very, very unique, very amazing with your pharmacy. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background and what you co-founded in Alberta?
Oh, absolutely. We have a community pharmacy solutions in Medicine Hat, which I founded with my partner, April. And the focus here is to create a welcoming, warm environment where we would know our clients and we would maybe even know their family over time, work with them through decades was the original vision, and to support their health and wellness. And we really looked at having a model where we were open-minded and curious. So sometimes I'll liken it to, I remember growing up, my dad had that Stanley toolbox in the garage and it had all these drawers. And just because one drawer had wrenches, it didn't mean that the hammer drawer, like it wasn't the hammer against the wrenches or the wrenches against the screwdrivers or the drill bits. Like they all coexisted and you pulled them open at different times. So our thought process was, and our logo has like a little pathway on it, that as people ventured through, possibly a disease state that obviously happens, or just trying to optimize their family's wellness, that we would come alongside them and we would access the drawers that they wanted to access. So we have a fairly progressive practice, and an inclusive practice of many modalities, which is really how the concept of liver support or liver detox came to me. We also do a lot of women's hormone consults. And that really came out of the fact that we're a compounding pharmacy, but you can offer hormonal regulation and in some cases that's sufficient, and you can still have clients who aren't achieving optimal results. That really always keeps us curious to what else can we do to be supportive. And we deal with a few different, I would call them like extremely high quality nutraceutical and supplement companies. And they usually provide, in addition to just sales information, they usually provide quite a bit of scientific background on their products. So one company in particular often would reach out to me and say, what about a liver support program? And my original background is in physiology. So I really had this opinion that everyone's liver is fine.
Yeah, liver doesn't need help. It's doing its job.
It's fine. It was perfectly created. It's an amazing organ. Just leave it alone. And to be totally transparent, I a little bit felt like it was a push to sell supplements. And I'm just not about that. Like, I'm about getting your maximum return for your investment. I want clients to feel like when I recommend something that they're going to be so happy with it. And so it just took me a long time to go there. But I think another part of the story there is my personal journey, in which you can get away with a lot of things in your 20s and your body will forgive you and bounce back. And then, especially for women, as we have babies at maybe the end of our 20s, maybe in our 30s, and we continue to live in an environment where we're exposed to so much, additives, preservatives, pesticides, herbicides, food coloring, like just all the things that we're exposed to over time. Our bodies, they need a little bit more from us if we want them to continue to have the same kind of energy and mental clarity that they did in their 20s. And then when you get into your 40s, then you gotta, be even a little bit more intentional about it. So at the beginning of this year, I started looking at different protocols and looking at different products and how would that, what kind of efficacy could I expect there? And then just decided to jump in and do one myself and see what happened. And I was like blown away. It was like, and I know it's so cliche, but it was life changing.
Yeah.
Because like the majority of clients that come to me that are looking for optimization of wellness, their top 3 concerns boil down to energy, mental clarity. They're having mental fog, they'll describe, or I just can't finish my sentences, or why is my memory not as sharp as it used to be? And then often weight gain that they are curious about, because in their 20s, if they'd have adjusted their lifestyle a little bit, that would have come off more easily. And now, end of their 30s, end of their 40s, that's not happening anymore. And they're maybe not sleeping well. Like that's the big main picture. Yep. When I ask them, what are your symptoms that are affecting your quality of life? And so for me, in 10 days, sorry, because I did a 10-day protocol. I know you do a 5-day protocol. I did one a little bit different. But
yes, 7.
Doesn't matter, 7, 10. I was like, my energy was like, and it's a little bit undescribable, because you're not, for me anyway, and I know you've said everyone you've done is different. It's not I'm running around the block energy. It's an energy that, it's definitely more noticeable. I call it more gas in the gas tank, but it's also accompanied by this really clear mindset and an ability to cope in like a way that I hadn't remembered in years. So previously, if I would be, rolling through my work week and little things, I'd think, oh, I don't have time for that right now. I need to I'll do that on the weekend, or I'll do that on a day off. I just suddenly found myself saying, no, I have the energy to take 5 minutes and just clear that off my plate and keep going. And so my productivity was super high. I was sleeping so much better. I also had to reflect on a few different things. So one of them was, I would have probably said, if you'd have asked me last January, are you eating enough fruit and vegetables? I would have said, absolutely. And I do, and I'm known within my friend group as a little bit like, ugh, like, do you have to eat all those healthy things? Like my and within my family too, right? My kids are always like, why do you have to put kale and things? Like, can't we just have potatoes? Why can't you have to put kale and mashed potatoes? But I thought I was eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. So the thing that I loved about those days was you do move to a food intake that's fairly anti-inflammatory, easy to digest, easy to metabolize, because I always liken a liver support time to cleaning out a swimming pool, right? So if you had hired maintenance personnel to clean out the pool and to clean the filters, you'd be really annoyed if somebody was standing at the other end of the pool dumping in dirt.
Yeah.
So it really opened my eyes to how much more fruit and vegetable could be in my day, and how that was really fueling me and creating good digestion and good energy.
It's, what I absolutely love and appreciate is that you do have this really robust scientific background, and you make all your clinical decisions anchored in that, but yet you allowed yourself to be curious and step outside of maybe what you conventionally had been taught. And using yourself as a guinea pig almost, and that's what I do all the time. being willing to be like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try and see what the hype is about. And so I just want to salute that in you, because a lot of the people that are in the scientific community often don't have that curiosity, unfortunately, right? And things can stay at a standstill for a long time. And like you said, you could do all the hormone replacement therapy, but if we have a problem at the root cause, it's not going to go away, right?
No, exactly. And I had, within the last probably, I don't know, 5-10 years, a real appreciation for foundations of health and gut health.
Yes.
So that I felt, and that came through some clients who, again, we hit a brick wall, and then I went looking, and I am really appreciative of my science background, both in physiology and pharmacy, because I feel like I have an ability to have confidence in seeking out reputable resources and even, reputable product. And so that the two, I think, can augment each other so well.
Absolutely.
And I think, we're living in a time where my experience has been a lot of people want to be right. And I don't actually want to be right. I just want to get it right. And sometimes that means, and I tell my clients this all the time, I'm like, remember how I told you liver detox isn't the thing? Well, takesies, backsies. I stand corrected. And then the other thing I look at is always, is this doing harm? Like, do I maybe have, and I, so when I looked at the protocol that I used, it's full of antioxidants. It's full of products that would, because it's a change in your nutrient intake for 10 days, and it's herbal and nutrient support. So when I looked at those, I'm like, this is like very comprehensive of supporting all the phases of metabolism in the liver. It's very supportive of heavy metal binding. I know I eat fish. I'm exposed to, I love fish. I'm exposed, like all the things, like I cook with tinfoil when we're camping. I
Yeah.
like just recently replaced my Teflon coated pans. So yes, of course I could over time accumulate some of those things. And one of the analogies I will use when I'm, discussing the pros and cons with clients is we probably don't need this if you go live off the grid. Like if
Yes.
you're not exposed to all, and some of those things, like I'll be honest, I'm still choosing to be exposed to.
Yeah.
Um, and so then how am I going to mitigate that risk? And
Exactly.
that supporting your liver to help it get um, rid of your waste product. That's what you're doing, is you're getting rid of waste product that you're holding on to and it's making you feel sluggish.
Exactly.
Then why wouldn't I do that? When I looked at the ingredient list and I looked at like, is it going to hurt me to eat more fruits and vegetables? No. Is it going to hurt me to support the
Yeah.
metabolism in my liver? It's not going to hurt me. So if it does no harm and I can afford that, then why wouldn't I try it? But I'll be honest, I expected maybe like on a scale of 1 to 10, I thought, oh, maybe I'll see like a 3. And I'll be honest, I saw like a 9. And to the point where before I made plans for the days that I would have like just room in my day to do that. But I mean, I worked through the whole thing. It's not like you're starving. Like I was never actually ever hungry through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I worked through that, like I had a little bit of anxiousness about it. Like, this is something I promised myself I'd do. And, and then at the end, I didn't want to go off.
Yeah, I know, right? And that's the thing, is actually what I love so many things about liver detoxes. I could go on and on, as you know. But one thing I love, and like you said, is it allows you to go back to a more foundational way of eating. So we're removing things that are processed, things that are not coming from nature, essentially, right?
Right. Yeah.
We're removing what I call dead food, the food that
Yeah.
comes in packages. That is not that you can see, just looking at it doesn't hold the energy that you want for yourself. So it's almost like we go back to a way of eating that's more energetic. So it's more, you're feeding yourself with foods that are alive, vibrant, energizing.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're doing that for a week, you're also slowly anchoring new habits. You get to try new
Mm-hmm.
things. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, I didn't want to go off of it. I hear that all the time. And I always say, well, you don't have to. This can
Mm-hmm.
be your everyday way of eating. And for me, that
Mm-hmm.
is how I eat. I mean, I did
Mm-hmm.
bring back some things. Like, for example, you can't have red meat on the detox, only because it does create a bit more inflammation. And we're really trying to mitigate that during the detox. But of course, I eat that otherwise. But for the most part, I eat like I'm on a detox all the time, simply because I eat an anti-inflammatory diet that is very nutrient dense and very alive food. So you can
Yeah.
totally, that's what I love about the detox. It's a really great way to give your brain confirmation that
Mm-hmm.
these foods are indeed healing and providing energy, as opposed to draining your energy. I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear, when you came off of it, was your I'm going to say, like, your toxic meter,
Yes.
was it so dialed up that you started really noticing the impact on your body every time you would have, let's say, and not that these things are bad by any stretch, but let's say you'd have a glass of wine. Were you able to
Mm-hmm.
better notice how that made you feel after the
Absolutely.
detox? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So on either end, pre-consumption and post-consumption, right? And I don't walk around paranoid or scared or like, you know, in a very, it's not an exaggerated thing for me, but just in the back of my brain now, I'm always thinking, is that going to serve me? I don't know.
Mhm.
Like, is it worth the cost? And like lots of times it is worth the price
Yes,
that I'm going to pay,
exactly.
like, and I'm happy with that. But I just have just a heightened awareness about all the things. And then I'm just slowly changing those things in my life because I want to be putting less. I know you use the rain barrel analogy a
Yeah.
lot. And I went for a run last night with my girlfriend, Lori. And so I had just told her, like, oh, rural internet, la la la. We tried to record this, didn't work. We were going to do it again tomorrow. And so she was like, oh, well, what are you talking to this, health coach about? And so I was, yeah, and she knows that I did the liver detox, but we talked a little bit more about, and she goes, oh, so all those little things, because we were talking about other kinds of toxicities as well too, right? Like stress as a toxin, and just all the things, the radiation, even,
Yes.
I had mentioned to her, I'm not wearing wireless earphones anymore. And but I mean, I didn't, if I also gave her the example, if my headphones I had left at home on a trip, I would still use the wireless ones short term, just more. I want to have less exposure to things that are just draining me, right?
Yeah.
So then I was explaining the rain barrel concept to her, and she goes, oh, so all those little things that they're not on their own an issue, but they add up, right? So is that like a little t traumas kind of a thing? And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, totally. That's all the little T's, and then they fill up in the rain barrel, and then your liver is like the little spout at the bottom. So I said, in the liver detox, like, two things happen. You give your body the tools to open up the valve at the bottom of the barrel to like, okay, get the waste out, get the waste out. And then during that time, you're also not adding in all the little T's. And then when you come out of that time of intention, then you also think, oh, I like, how much do I want to add into this rain barrel, right? Like, and so you just having a little bit of an increased awareness. And then when you do add something in that raises the volume, you do notice it more for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's so amazing. Anyway, I just find it so empowering because most of us women, and especially, you're running a business, now you're looking into opening a second location, like, you have to hustle. You
Oh
have
yeah.
to power
Oh
through, right? And
yeah.
boy, did we talk about this. And the thing is, these little intentional, like the liver detox, forces you back into your body. And I
Yeah.
love this for high achieving women because literally we usually don't stop until our body starts breaking down. That's
Uh-huh.
usually the only way we'll
Mm-hmm.
stop, right? But this liver detox is a great way to bring more awareness to our body and bring more
Mm-hmm.
intention. And just like you, I always say, I don't want to live in a bubble scared of
Mm-mm.
everything. And that just takes the fun out of it, right? I want
Yeah.
to live a full life of intention.
Mm-hmm.
So, last night we went for an ice cream with my kids
Mm-hmm.
and we enjoyed every single sip, and so the intention was like, beautiful summer night, like, we're doing this, let's do,
Yeah.
so the energy behind it is so different, and so the yield is different as well. And
Yeah.
I love that, you're explaining it in your own words, and it's so true. And I also love, I want to go back to what you said at the very beginning about the analogy with your dad's toolbox, because,
Mm-hmm.
and also you said something about people want to be right these days, and it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the toolbox, and I often refer to this, right? What you offer, what I offer, it's not competing, it's
Mm.
complementing. It's just
Yes,
giving you more tools in your toolbox. And to me, the underlying goal is always to increase your resilience, right? So that you
absolutely.
can go through life, because stress is not going to go away.
No.
Unfortunately, it's just going to keep getting crazier and crazier. So how can we feel really anchored in our power, connected to our body, feeling like, I got this, I have the tools? And I have witnessed you. Oh my gosh. I have witnessed you in the past few months in our work together, especially when it comes to your nervous system.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even begin to explain the transformation I've witnessed in you, the level of awareness. And I've told you this, like, you definitely have the gold medal of all my clients for awareness. You even sent me a 3-month report. It was almost like a report card with grades. Oh
Yes,
my
that's
gosh,
me.
this was a first for me, but I think I might print it. It was so
Well, and that's the scientist in me, right? Like,
exactly.
so we talk when you and I meet and we connect, we talk about a lot of things that are not tangible necessarily.
Yeah,
And so that's where I think your mainstream Western focused practitioner could feel not validated,
absolutely.
because like, where's the data, where's the numbers, and so with nervous system regulation as an example, how are we going to measure that? Well, there actually are some ways we can measure that, but a lot of it is going to be not quantitative data, but qualitative data, right? Which social scientists are a little bit more adept to accepting. And so I am incredibly intentional just because I don't have a lot of extra time.
Exactly.
So if I'm going to invest in something, I want to make sure I'm moving the needle. And so what were my, goals going into meeting with you? How are we doing partway through? Nervous system regulation is a big one, and right alongside liver detox, I think, in like kind of levels of foundations
Yeah.
of health. And so, when we first met, you said to me, "Do you have a meditation practice?" I was like, "Yeah, no, don't."
I don't have
And
time to pee in a day. So
right, really no. And then so that was one of the tools that I began to implement, and began to see how it didn't have to look how I thought it needed to look, but how would that affect my overall health? And so something like sleep, now an Aura ring is actually on my wish list. So you can get some data there. I don't currently have one, but I can tell you my sleep has improved, and I have also really gathered a whole toolbox drawer on ways to affect my quality of sleep, so that when I start to notice that, ooh, I'm losing that, okay, when am I going to go back and like really get a little bit more focus into my nightly habits, end of day habits, I guess.
yeah.
And so but then I really, at the beginning of our time working together, had come through some really big life events, right? We didn't just we founded a business and a concept. So the energy that went into that, and the just the momentum and the changes as it's grown, those are a huge blessing. But that still requires a lot of my focus and attention. Then we could go down the rabbit hole of the pandemic.
Mhm.
Then I chose to, my family chose to move. So lots of things that had me running way up here. Went for a routine physical, and my blood pressure was higher than it should be. And I thought, okay, like, no big deal. I will just, I know what impacts that. Let me start looking at the lifestyle factors that impact that and adjusting those. Didn't feel like I was making the progress that I needed to, but actually have with regulating my nervous system. And I don't know particularly what pieces had the most impact, and I suspect it's like everything. It's a bit of a one feeds off the other, and then it's not that one part was the biggest piece, but they together contribute an overall picture of improvement. So whether it was the liver detox, whether it was all the nervous system work that I've been doing, and that has just a lot to do with awareness. Like, when I'm getting heightened and getting pulled into the, really sympathetic drive all the time. And I think that's why a lot of us also eat, maybe more or different things than would actually fuel us, because the parasympathetic nervous system is where we rest, digest, procreate. If you're not getting there naturally, you're going to start eating to force that rest and digest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they're all interconnected. So there was the liver detox, there was the nervous system work, and being aware of like putting myself into that parasympathetic. My energy was so low. I've enjoyed running for most of my adult life. I just didn't even feel like I had the energy to run anymore. So instead of beating myself up about that, I needed to go back, change some of my exercise routine, rebuild my strength. And then, after that, you and I talked about it, and I did a parasite cleanse, which like I also did not want to come off of that. I loved it. And one day I went to stand up and I was dizzy, and my blood pressure was too low. So the accumulation of all those things has pushed me from a hypertensive state to a hypotensive state. And I am also quite blown away by that. And it actually really fits with our practice philosophy here. So if somebody comes in my door and they need hypertensive medication, I'm not going to beat them up about it. Like, there can be situations where there's actually nothing that person can do. There also, so I liken it also to a cast. If somebody came through our front door and had a broken leg, I wouldn't be, that's not anything to be sad about. Well, maybe it is actually, that
Yeah.
kind of stinks, but you put on the cast, do the things you need to do, you go to physio, you do all the things. And I think some chronic disease states, we can have a similar holistic approach. Okay, so your blood pressure is elevated, let's give you some blood pressure medication. And now let's talk about all the things. And we do that actually here with mental health all the time. I don't think anybody goes out here with a prescription for a mental health product without being asked, like, hey, like, what are the other modalities that has somebody given you the adequate referrals to, whatever that might
Yeah.
be, counseling, that kind of thing. So it needs to be a comprehensive approach. And some of that nervous system regulation, well, actually all of it, and the parasite detox and the liver cleanse, I'm pretty confident is what has reversed me running around in a super elevated sympathetic flight or fright. I was in flight or fright all the time.
Yeah.
And it was damaging internal organs.
Yeah. The scientific in you knew that.
Yeah.
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 I mean, yeah. And thank you for sharing the parasite cleanse. I wasn't sure if you wanted to share that or not, but
Yeah.
you also were skeptical at first when I brought that up, because I always say you live in a mini zoo. You literally have like horses, cats jumping on you, dogs. And I was like, Leigh, I'm sorry to say, but like for sure you have parasites in you, and there's nothing wrong about it. It's just we have to also acknowledge the elephant in the room. There's
Right?
because of the lifestyle you have, and it's beautiful. And I like a lot of people think that parasites, you only pick them up when you travel abroad or when you maybe don't have like a good hygiene. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with that. In fact, the closer you live a life to nature, so the more you are surrounded by animals, the more you spend time in nature, the more you go barefoot in the grass, the more you eat organic, that's just how we pick up parasites, because that's where they hang out. And there's nothing wrong about it. Humans have always known that. And tribes to this day are still deworming every year through powerful herbs and elixirs and things like that. So why are we thinking that we're not needing this anymore? Like we're the only region in the world, in North America, where we don't do that anymore. But it was so transformational for you. And similar to the liver detox, it brought you a level of awareness, and every day you were getting more energy, feeling better. And that gave you bandwidth to also go look deeper under the hood. We dived into this feminine, masculine energy, the people pleasing energy, which was keeping your nervous system in survival, looking at limiting beliefs, looking at breath work, doing all the things to get you out of your head into your body. And I have to say, like, you went all in. You were scared at some point. They're like, am I just
Absolutely.
closing the lid on this and like walking away and never going back again? Or do I go in it? Like, what do I do?
And I think, yeah, my approach is I let it sit in the back of my head, and then I evaluate, like, first, do no harm. Like, would I harm myself doing this? What do I have to gain? What do I have to lose? Right. And so, yeah, the parasite thing, when I reflected on it, I was like, wait a minute, I do offer all the animals a deworming protocol.
Yeah.
And I, like 10 years ago, went on a medical mission trip to Central America. We went to Honduras, and I traveled with a group of healthcare professionals. And that's actually a place where I also don't want my clients to feel like I don't I do have a great appreciation for Western medicine. I've seen what it looks like to live
Oh, of
without
course.
Western medicine. It's not great,
Absolutely.
but I don't think they have to. An approach of optimizing your health does not have to compete with an approach that it repairs your health. They can coexist. And for different people, they will want to lean one way or the other way more. And that's not for me to judge. I am to provide tools, and they can decide which drawers they want to open. And the parasite detox for me, I was like, oh yeah, when we went to Central America, that was one of the stations we offered everybody that came in. It was like you could go to a nutrition station and literally get fed, because that, access to clean, healthy food was not always a reality there. There was a deworming station, there was a dental station, there was a medical station, and then we were actually the last stop. And a lot of what we gave out was actually, in many cases, antibiotics or vitamins, because there's just a lot of infection there because of the standards of living, but and not a lot of nutrition. But yeah, even there, I was like, oh yeah, we went all the way there and offered everybody there parasite support, but we don't do that here. And oh, okay. And yeah, like when I'm outside working with the animals, like I try to wash my hands a lot, but I also just breathe in the air, which is windy here sometimes, and there's literally there's lots blowing in the air, let's just put it that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was transformative for me. And I think I had a bit of an energy low about 3 weeks ago, and right away my brain went to, okay, when can I do a liver detox next? Maybe I just need to support things a little bit more. And I feel a bit that way about the parasite cleanse as well. When will I do that again? I don't know, but will it become a practice that's routine? Yeah, absolutely it will. It's not harmful. And what was really surprising to me, and this will for sure give a little bit woo-woo for some of my more Western thinking colleagues, but and we know this in medicine, right? When it's a full moon, clients are often very anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Things are very unsettled. The prescriptions coming in from the emergency room are elevated. Nurse friends tell me, oh gosh, it's a full moon tonight. So we know there's something about a full moon affecting behaviors. You just have to work in healthcare for like maybe 2 years to know that. And so there is, and why that is, there is many different theories, but one of them is that if we are harboring some organisms living within us that are, feeding off us, those life cycles can mimic a moon cycle. And so, yeah, my first full moon, which I'm aware when the full moon is because I am for work, like.
Yeah.
I have colleagues who sometimes will plan their days off around that.
It's a thing. It's a
It's
thing.
that noticeable, right? So my first full moon on the parasite detox was emotionally rough. Like
Oh yeah.
right, I was just like, just felt emotionally like I understand why people feel so anxious during a full moon when I normally don't per se. But if you're breaking up those biofilms and exposing them, and they're active at that time, yeah, you're gonna feel it more. So yeah, just lots of things. And again, like, do I know for sure that I had parasites? No, I didn't feel the need to test that. Is there the option to use pharmaceuticals? Yeah, there would be if you tested and it was positive and you went to. But and I think that's where the shift comes with the liver detox too. Like, you're not treating a cirrhosis, you're not treating a hepatitis, you're not looking for elevated liver enzymes. You're actually looking to optimize health and to look and improve symptoms that are really don't mean to be redneck about this, but that nobody's dying of. Like nobody's dying of
Exactly.
low energy, but it is significantly impacting your quality of life, and the investment you put into your health in your 30s will pay off in your 40s. And the investment you put in your 40s and the intention you put there, that's why I'm so all in, because like I have a vision of the things I want to be doing when I'm 70 and 80, and it's not sitting in a rocking chair. So that's the all in intention, right? How can I build that health so that in my 50s, I'm like living the vibrancy that I want to.
Amen. Yes, exactly. I love that. I'm so glad you came on because, it's so important to also acknowledge, like what you said, that Western medicine definitely has its place, while holistic health also has its place. And together, that's how we have the best, most powerful toolbox.
Yes,
Right? We're combining
absolutely.
the wisdom of nature, the wisdom of Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese medicine, all the things that have been going on for thousands of years, plus all the innovation, the science, the latest and greatest. Combine that. And that's, to me, that's biohacking
Yeah,
right there.
absolutely.
Biohacking is
Exactly.
something you become, it's something you are. It's when you are sitting in your power, confident and resilient, knowing that you have these tools at your disposal and that you have these resources and the people around
Yeah.
you and that you got this. There's such a different energy. And so you can stay in those higher elevated emotions, frequencies. You don't have to linger so much into the fear or so yeah, to me, that's really what biohacking is. And
Yeah.
I've really seen you step fully into it. And it's
Yeah. And
fabulous.
that's to me what integrative healthcare is, right? You're
Exactly.
integrating all the pieces, and your plan will look different than my plan. And
Yeah.
your comfort level will look different than my comfort level. I think we need to leave the place where there's wrongs and rights and sides, and just come to embrace, like, we actually live in a country and in a time where we do have access to so many choices, and to be grateful for those choices and lean in where we feel called, because that's another part of the work you and I have worked on is that intuition, right? Like, you're actually already whole and healed. Like, you're not broken, you already know. You just need to take the time to honor the knowing.
Yes. I love to hear it from you because I'm just like, okay, yeah, she got it.
Oh, am
Like
I preaching
she,
to the choir?
oh, like not only you got it, now you are it. It's
Yeah.
just such a shift. And I'm so excited for everything you're going to put out in this world because you are on a mission. You are working really hard. You're building a second location. You have big dreams. And I'm sure you can feel the energy behind you, like the intention is so different, right? And so
Yeah.
you're going to you're still going to be that high achieving woman, but with a very different twist. And that's I love that. And
Yeah.
I just think it's so much more powerful. Um,
It's
so
softer, but it's more powerful.
exactly. Isn't
Yeah.
it wild?
Mhm.
We always thought that it has to be hard. It has like we have to bleed for it to be successful for women. And it's like, no, you actually can bring more softness and receive more abundance in all spheres of your life. And
Mhm.
I love this. And I can't wait. Like
Mm.
we're going to continue our work together. We're
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
done.
Nope.
And this is only the beginning, and it's just so amazing that everything you've already accomplished. And I really want to thank you for your time today, for sharing really that vision and that curiosity, which if there's one word I think we should all remember from today's
Mm,
episode, it's that. um,
absolutely.
because look at where that curiosity brought you, in
Yeah.
such a short amount of time. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
where can
Well,
people find you, especially people in Alberta? Like Leigh is an amazing resource. You're a prescribing pharmacist with a specialty in bioidentical hormones only because you are compounding as well. So where can people find you if they feel like they need your help?
Absolutely. The best place is at this time our website. So I think I sent you a link to that.
Yeah, I will put that in the show notes.
Solutionspharmacy.ca. So you can, there's a place you can email in there. And if it's related to any of the topics we've discussed today, that will get forwarded to me. And then there's also a place for women seeking advice with respect to hormonal health. And there's an input there. So a variety of questions. It's a questionnaire, it's an intake questionnaire. And that also comes straight to my email as well.
Beautiful. Great. Well, again, I'm so grateful you said yes to coming and sharing your perspective on this.
Well, thank you for the
next
invite.
liver detox now?
It will be in August, actually.
Yes. I love when your body is the one actually telling you, like, okay, I think we're ready for a little cleanup here. I do it every 3 months, every season.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably going to be doing that too.
Yeah, that is absolutely my intent. And I, found myself looking at my calendar and the opposite perspective, like, when do I get to do this?
How early can I get back?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Have a beautiful day.
Yeah, you too.
Thank
Bye.
you.
We did
Bye.
Are you tired of being tired? If you are, if this speaks to you in your core, well, let me tell you about the Energy Upgrade Coaching Program. This is my acclaimed hybrid coaching program where not only do we get to work one-on-one, but you also become part of the sacred container where I teach a 1-hour masterclass once a week, empowering you with all the knowledge that you need to know to make better decisions for your health. In this program, I help you heal at a deeper level. I help you uncover the root cause of your symptoms, and I help you finally reconnect with your body so that you can remember your power. You can go inwards. We can remove the layers that don't serve you anymore. And my approach is less is more. So it's not about adding more things, but really realigning, reconnecting with what truly feeds your soul and gives you energy so that slowly but surely you can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel again. This is a 6-month coaching container. I have a wonderful holistic nutritionist in my team as well that you get to meet every month. And she provides deeper additional support on the nutritional aspect because let's face it, at the end of the day, it's all about the daily choices that you make. So we're here with you every step of the way to help you win. And if on top of that, you get access to me 24/7 because I know how it feels when you get stuck and you have to wait for your next appointment before getting unstuck. I don't want that for any of you. That's why I give you access to me all the time. So when you need more encouragement, when you feel like celebrating a big milestone, when you're at the grocery store feeling lost, not knowing what to buy, you can just send me a picture, send me a text. I'll be right there with you. I'm your accountability buddy, and I want you to win. You can join the Energy Upgrade anytime. This program just runs continuously. You can join every month. I open a very few select spots because I want this program to remain small so I can be there with you and provide you the support that you deserve to heal and finally feel like yourself again. If this speaks to you, if you're curious to know if this could be a good fit, let's connect. You can book a free 15-minute connect call with me to apply and to learn more, get to know more about my approach, and for me to get to know more about some of the symptoms that are holding you down and making sure that the energy upgrade is perfect for you. You can find the link to my calendar in the show notes. And I cannot wait to connect with you, my friend, and help you get more energy once and for all. The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grutman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.